Hi everyone, it's Lindy on here from Pink Whisper Designs. Today I've got another brand new stamp set from the Art Impressions Spring 2022 collection. Let's take a closer look at it here. You can see how cute this is. This is called Friends Forever. So this is part of the Girlfriends collection. And you get lots of really fun sentiments that go really well with this. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'll be using the Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens to do my coloring, and I'm starting off with Flesh Color and Sugared Almond Pink, and I'll be putting the pink on the cheeks and then adding that flesh color for all the skin tones here. Now I'm using the Zig Blender pen to do my blending, but as I always say, you could use a water brush here as well, whatever's easier, because these are water-based markers, so you can do whatever you prefer here. So again, I left all the coloring in just so you could see exactly what I did and how I did my blending and shadowing. And this particular set now does come with, again, all those sentiments up top there, which are really cute. And we'll be using two of these today. The one that says Friends Forever on the front of the card and We're Better Together on the inside of the card. And to stamp these images, I use the Versafine Onyx black ink, which is a permanent black ink. And then I use the Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock. And again, that is my favorite cardstock when coloring with the zigs. It just kind of keeps that ink floating up on top of the paper a little bit longer, so I have plenty of time to do my blending and shading. Now I'm listing all the colors we're using in the upper left-hand corner as we go along, and I'll also list and link all the products we're using today down below and also on my blog. So be sure to check that out as well. And again, this set is part of the Girlfriends collection, and I've done a few other cards with some of these girlfriends, so you could always go to my blog and check those out. And I'm going to finish up the coloring here, and then I'll meet you on the other side of that. So now that we have all our little ladies colored in, let's grab some Strathmore Bristol Smooth 100-pound cardstock, and this measures 5.5 by 8.5. I'm scoring it at 4.25 and then again at 2 1/8. So this will be a standard A2 size card, and this, we're making an easel card. That's why we added that second score. So here we're folding it in half at the 4.25-inch mark. And I'm just using my bone folder to press that out. And then we'll fold it in towards the center at that halfway mark there, which is 2 1/8. And that will create the little easel portion of our card. So let's go ahead and grab some pattern paper from the Watercolor Wishes Rainbow Petite paper pack from Fawn. And first we're going to grab that green color to create our grassy border. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of this, and this paper is really pretty because you have all different shades of green on there. And I cut a panel 1 7/8 inch by 5 1/4 inch. And that's going to leave a little white border around that bottom section of our easel card. Now for the top section of the easel card, I've gone ahead and cut another piece of Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock. And that measures 2.5 by 5 1/4. So let's go ahead and cut a piece of the yellow from that same rainbow paper pad. And that should fit right inside that panel just like before. So that'll measure 2.25 by 5 inches. So let's go ahead and attach that. And you can see that's going to sit up on the top of our easel. So let's attach these two together. So now I'll go ahead and attach these two together. And because of that pretty variety of color you get there, you really don't need to do any shadowing or shading here. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the grassy border, and I'll keep that lighter area of the green on the top of the grass there. Now we can add that sky to our scene here. And I'm going to keep the lighter part of the sky down at the bottom. And you want to line that right up along the top edge of your card. So let's apply some adhesive. We only need adhesive on the bottom of this panel. And I'm using a 1/4-inch double-sided tape here. And then just to be sure, I'm going to add a little bead of glue right below that fold line. And I'll just press that out with my finger a little bit just to make sure it doesn't ooze out. Remove the backing from my tape, and now I can line these up. Again, I'm lining up that panel with the top edge of my card, and I'm centering it. So you can see that's our grassy border in our sky. And again, it's lined up exactly with the top edge of our card. So now I grabbed some polka dot paper from that same paper pack, and I picked the one that had more of the greens and yellows in it. There's a different collection of variety of colors in there, so pick the one that coordinates best with the sky that you've chosen. So I've cut that at 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, so that'll leave a little white border all the way around on the inside of our card. You can see how that's coming together here. So let's grab these little ladies and cut these out. There is not a coordinating die for this set, but it's really easy to use your detail scissors and just carefully cut all around the edges. And I'm leaving a little white border all the way around. So I did the rest of that off camera. And now I did want to cut that area out of the bench there that you can, where there would be the sky or the grass. So I'm using an X-Acto knife and a cutting mat, and I'm going to just cut those out. You could certainly skip this if you wanted to, and you could just color that in the green color, but I'm going to just cut those out. And when you're using your X-Acto knife, just make some little cuts. Just cut through the cardstock a little at a time, and then they'll easily pop right out. So I'm going to set that aside now. And I'm grabbing my white gel pen. This is the Uni-ball Signo white gel pen. And I'm just going to add some highlights here and there, some little polka dots, and some interest to my little ladies here. So now I've got my 2 sentiments, the Friends Forever, and I did decide to grab a second one for the inside of the card, and that says, "We're better together." Now I've die cut those from the rectangle A2 double stitch dies. Now I've got a piece of that yellow pattern paper. I glued it to a piece of Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock just to give it a little bit more substance, because this is going on the inside of our card and it's what's going to hold up the easel portion of our card. So I've got some mustard seed distress oxide and I'm going to go all around the edges of that, and I'll do the same thing for each of these sentiments. That'll just finish off the edge a little bit better. So that one's going to get glued onto this piece here, and you can see it just leaves a little yellow border all the way around. So now I've got my 2 little grass clusters here, and these are from the Art Impressions Bible journaling set, and this is called the Bible foliage set. And these are cling stamps, so I'm going to grab a little acrylic block. This is from the Watercolor travel box from Art Impressions, and you get 3 acrylic blocks in there, and you get a little watercolor palette as well. So for ink, I'm using my Distress Archival ink in the peeled paint. This is a permanent ink, and I just selected this one because I really like the color. I think it goes really well with what the pattern paper here. So I'm just going to test that really quickly, and then I'll stamp some different sizes of these little grassy clusters down here at the bottom. Again, just to add a little bit more interest here. Now I'll just switch to that smaller one and fill in the rest of this. So now let's create the sun and clouds. These are from the Lawn Fawn Spring Showers die set. And I'm using the Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock for the sun and the Pixie Dust cardstock from Lawn Fawn. This is a sparkle cardstock to do my clouds. So I'm running these through the Sizzix Sidekick machine. And I'm just using my Tim Holtz pick tool just to pop those out. So this will be the base of the sun. We're going to add a bit more to that. And I wanted to show you that pretty sparkle we have on those clouds. So now let's go back to this paper pack. We're going to grab that kind of corally color, and that'll coordinate really well with the green and yellow that we've already chosen. And I'm just going to select an area of this paper. I'm going to use that darker area, and I'm running that through. And then I'm going to grab the yellow as well, that same yellow we used before, and that'll be for the center of our sun. So we can go ahead and cut away all the rays off the yellow one. And then I'm going to the Abandoned Coral Distress Oxide ink pad, and I'm going to add a little shadowing around that, the center of the sun there. I'm just using my Tim Holtz foam applicator tool to do that. Now I can glue all 3 of these pieces together. And by adding the sun to that Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock, that'll just thicken it up a little bit and give it a little bit more substance. So I'll just take a second or 2 there to line those up. And then I'm going back to the Abandoned Coral, and I'm going to just add a little shadow around the tips of those rays. So let's go ahead and lay out the sky here. I'm going to cut away some of those rays on the bottom of the sun there. and tuck that right behind that larger cloud. So we can go ahead and glue these down. And I am going to let that pop up over that yellow cardstock just a little bit there, just to so it looks like the scene continues on a little bit. Now you could certainly pop up this cloud in the front. I did just glue it down, and I'm gluing everything flat here in the sky. Now I've got the ladies, and I'm going to pop those up with some Scotch foam mounting tape, and I'll just apply some small chunks of that all the way around the back here, just to make sure it stays up nicely as it's going through the mail. I'll remove the backing, and now we can just tape these in place. Now the Friends Forever is going on the front of the card, so I'm going to just avoid that little edge there. I don't want to put glue right along the edge because it's going to hang over that top panel of the card. So I'll just make sure that I leave about a 1/4 inch there without any glue on it, and I'll just tuck this in place. And now I can attach that piece for the center of the inside of the card. And again, I thicken that up with some additional cardstock, and we can go ahead and attach the sentiment to that. And again, I thicken that piece up just because it is going to hold the card up inside. So I didn't want it to be too flimsy. And then I'm also going to pop this up. So I'm doubling up my Scotch foam mounting tape. Again, just to make sure that it holds the easel portion up really well. I'm going to just cut some smaller sections of this. Make sure I have plenty of it on here. So I'll go ahead and remove the backing from the tape, and then I'm going to center it on the inside of the card here. But if you want your easel to stand up a little bit taller, then you can push that further back towards the fold of the card. So you do want to make sure that's nice and straight so that when your easel is standing upright, it's not crooked. So take a little time to make sure you have that straight. You could even use a T-square there just to double check that. So now you can see our cute little card, and these little ladies are just so precious. And then it pops up into an easel, so that makes it really fun. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. As always, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you all have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.